I just want to start off by saying, if you want an answer at the end, prepare to be disappointed. It just isn't one. I was an intern at Nickelodeon Studios for a year in 2005 for my degree in animation. It wasn't paid, of course. Most internships aren't, but it did have some perks beyond education. To adults, it might not seem like a big one, but most kids at the time would shit themselves over it. Now, since I worked directly with the editors and animators, I got to view the new episodes days before they aired. I'll get right to it without giving too many unnecessary details. Me and two other interns were in the editing room along with the lead animators and the sound editors for the final cut. We received a copy that was supposed to be Fear of the Krabby Patty, and we gathered around the screen to watch it. Now, given that it wasn't final yet, animators often put up a mock title card, sort of an inside joke for us. Oftentimes, lewd titles such as Had Sex Doesn't Work instead of Rockabye by Valve. When SpongeBob and Patrick adopt a sea scallop, nothing particularly funny about the work-related chuckles. So when we saw the title card Squidwards Suicide, we didn't think it more than a morbid joke. One of the interns did a small throat laugh at it. The happy-go-lucky music plays as normal. The story began with Squidward practicing his clarinet, hitting a few sour notes like normal. We hear SpongeBob laughing outside and Squidward stops, yelling at him to keep it down as he has a concert that night and he needs to practice. SpongeBob says okay, then goes to see Sandy with Patrick. The Bubbles splash screen comes up and then we see the ending of Squidward's concert. This is when things begin to seem off. While playing, a few frames repeat themselves, but the sound doesn't. At this point, the sound is synced up with animation, so yes, that's not common. But when he stops playing, the sound finishes as if the skit never happened. There is a slight murmuring in the crowd before they begin the booing, not a normal cartoon booing that is a common in the show, but you could rarely clearly hear mounds in it. Squidward's in full frame and looks visibly afraid. The shoot goes to the crowd with SpongeBob in the center frame, and he is too booing, very much unlike him. That isn't the oddest thing, though. What is odd is everyone had hyper-realistic eyes, very detailed, clearly not shots of real people's eyes, but something a bit more real than CGI. The pupils were red. Some of us looked at each other, obviously confused. But since we weren't the writers, we didn't question its appeal to children yet. The shot goes to Squidward sitting on the edge of his bed, looking very forlorn. The view out of his porthole window of a night sky, so it isn't very long after the concert. The unsettling part is at this point there is no sound, not even the feedback from the speakers in the room. It is as if the speakers were turned off, though their status showed them working perfectly. He just sat there, blinking in this silence for about 30 seconds. Then he started to sob softly. He put his hands over his eyes and cried quietly for a full minute more. All the while, a sound in the background very slowly growing from nothing to barely audible. It sounded like a slight breeze through a forest. The screen slowly begins to zoom in on his face. By slow, I mean it's only noticeable if you look at the shots 10 seconds apart side by side. His sobbing gets louder, more full of hurt and anger. The screen then twitches as a bit as it twists in on itself for a split second, then back to normal. The wind through the trees sound gets slowly louder and more severe as if the storm is brewing somewhere. The eerie part is the sound in Squidward's sobbing sounded real, as if the sound wasn't coming from the speakers, but as if the speakers were holes. The sound was coming through the other side, As good sound as the studio likes to have, they don't purchase the equipment to be that good to produce sound of that quality. The screen flipped back to Squidward, still sobbing louder than before. In half body and frame, there was now what appeared to be blood running down his face from his eyes. The blood was also done in a hyper-realistic style, looking as if you touched it, you'd get blood on your fingers. The wind sounded now as if it were that of a gale blowing through the forest. There were even snapping sounds of branches, the laughing of a deep baritone lasting at longer intervals and coming more frequently. After about 20 seconds, the screen again twisted and showed a single frame photo. The editor was reluctant to go back, we all were, but he knew what he had to do. This time, the photo was that of what appeared to be a little girl, no older than the first child. She was laying on her stomach, her barrettes in a pool of blood next to her. Her left eye was too popped out and popped naked except for underpants. Her entrails were piled on top of her above another crude cut along her back. Again, the body was on the street and the photographer's shadow was visible, very similar in size and shape to the first. I had to choke back on vomit, and one intern, the only female in the room, ran out. The show was resumed. About 5 seconds after this, a second photo played. Squidward went silent, as did all sound, like it was when this scene started. He put his tentacles down, and his eyes were now done in hyper-realism, like the others were in the beginning of the episode. They were bleeding bloodshot and pulsing. He just stared at the screen as if watching the viewer. After about 10 seconds, he started sobbing. This time, not covering his eyes. The sound was piercing and loud, and most fear-inducing of all is his sobbing was mixed with screams. Tears and blood were dripping down his face at a heavy rate. The wind sound came back, and so did the deep-voiced laughing, and this time the still photo lasted for a good 5 frames. The lead sound editor told us to stop. He had to call in the creator to see this. Mr. Hillenberg arrived within about 15 minutes. He was confused as to why he was called down there, so the editor just continued the episode. Once the few frames were shown, all screaming, all sound again, and stopped. Squidward was just staring at the viewer, full frame, the face, for about 3 seconds. The shot quickly panned out, and that deep voice said, "Do it." And we seen in Squidward's hands a shotgun. He immediately puts the gun up in his mouth and pulls the trigger. Realistic blood and brain matter splatters the wall behind him and on his bed, and he flies back with the force. The last 5 seconds of the episode show his body on the bed, on his side, one eye dangling on what's left of his head, above the floor, staring blankly at it. Then the episode ends. Mr. Hillenberg is obviously angry at this. He demanded to know what the hell was going on. Most people left the room at this point, so it was just a handful of us to watch it again. Viewing the episode twice only served to imprint the entirety of it in my mind, and it caused me horrible nightmares. I'm sorry I stayed. The only theory we could think of was the file was edited by someone in the chain from the drawing studio here. The CTO was called in to analyze it when it happened. The analyst of the file did show it was edited. over by a new material. However, the timestamp of it was 24 seconds before we began viewing it. All equipment involved was examined for forging software and hardware as glitches, as if the timestamp may have glitched and showed the wrong time, but everything checked out fine. We don't know what happened, and to this day, nobody does. There was an investigation due to the nature of the photos, but nothing came of it. No child seen was identified, and no clues were gathered from the data involved, nor physical clues in the photos. I never believed in unexplainable phenomena before, but now that I have something happen, and I can't prove anything about it beyond anecdotal evidence, I think twice about things.